Good morning, students. Myself, Jansi Lakshmi. I am dealing the subject is Industrial Pharmacy in the year of 2021 for the third year students. Now I am going to discussing the topic is pre-formulation. What is pre-formulation? Formulation means design and development of a dosage form. Before design and development of a dosage form, pre-formulation. Before the design and development of a dosage form, we will do some studies and we will go for the some studies. These studies will useful for the when we will do the actual dosage form. That time this information will useful. Before doing after these studies will we get the some information. By using of the this information will useful for the while doing the design and development of a virginal dosage form or a actual dosage form. That time this information will useful for the making of a real dosage form. That are the pre-formulation studies. Before design and development of a dosage form, that time this information will useful for the making of a optimized dosage form. First of all, what is a pre-formulation? Pre-formulation is a branch of pharmaceutical science that utilizes the biopharmaceutical principles in the determination of physicochemical properties of a drug substances. Pre-formulation is a branch of a pharmaceutical science. Actually, this pre-formulation uses the biopharmaceutical principles. What are these biopharmaceutical principles like dissolution, diffusion, like these parameters? By using of these parameters, we can characterize the physicochemical properties of a new drug substances. By using of these biopharmaceutical principles, we can determine the physicochemical properties of a drug substances. Next, prior to the development of any dosage form of a new drug, it is essential that certain fundamental physical and chemical properties of a drug powder are determined. Before making of any development of a dosage form, we can characterize the physicochemical parameters. We need to establish the physicochemical properties of a new drug substances. Why? Because by knowledge of this relevant information is useful for the making of a appropriate formulation as well as appropriate release of a dosage form. And what is the definition? What is the definition of a pre-formulation means? Investigation of a physicochemical properties of a new drug compound that could affect drug performance and development of an effective dosage form. By knowing of a clear physiochemical properties of a new drug compound, by clear examination, by the research of a physicochemical properties, we could characterize and we can determine the performance of a drug as well as a drug release pattern. We clearly determine by the investigation of a physicochemical properties. For example, without knowing of a flow properties, we cannot prepare a appropriate dosage form. The quantity of a dosage form we cannot get a content uniformity without knowing of a flow properties. Without knowing of a solubility parameters, we cannot able to produce a optimized dosage form. The pre-formulation is the first step in the rational development of any dosage form of a drug substances. And goals of a pre-formulation. What are the main goals of a pre-formulation is to establish the necessary physicochemical properties of a new drug substances, to determine the kinetic rate profile, to establish physical characteristics, to establish compatibility with their common excipients. These are the goals of a pre-formulation. By using of these goals of a pre-formulations and the formula next one is the goals of a pre-formulation. By using of these goals of a pre-formulation, the formulator make a appropriate optimized dosage form. By using of these uh, preformulation studies, we will get the optimized dosage form. What is the optimized dosage form means? When we are call it as the optimized dosage form means when the drug is a effective, stable, safe, stable and effective. That time we will call it as a stable dosage form. Next, these are the goals of a preformulation. Physical description. What is physical description means? What are the new drug we are found, that drug is present in a which state, means that drug is present in a which state, whether it is a solid or a liquid, that is determined by the physical description. While doing of these preformulation studies, we can characterize the drug substances is a solid or a liquid or a which state it is present, we can determine by the this preformulation studies. It important to understand the physical description of a drug substances, whether it is a solid, semi-solid or a liquid, prior to the dosage form of a development. Most of the drugs in use today are solid materials and less number are a liquid in nature. Means here many of the drugs are in a solid form. Why we are making a solid form means it is a making procedures are very easy, and also patients are shows a more acceptance taking of a solid dosage forms. That's why many materials are in available in a solid dosage form. This is about the physical description, whether it is a present solid or a liquid. And next one, liquid drugs have a two problems. What are the liquid drugs is present? That are mainly faces the two problem. First problem is the volatility, and next problem is the formulation of that liquid drugs. First is the volatility. Liquid drugs are having a two problems. What is the first problem is the volatility. What is the volatility? If you are the drug substances are keep it under the atmosphere, they are evaporated. They get evaporated means the drug capacity and the drug effectiveness will be reduces, means that the drug effectiveness will reduce it due to the evaporation parameter. So this is the one of the problem. And next one is a liquid. These liquid dosage forms are formulation of a liquid dosage form is difficult. Why? Because this and to solve this problem, two easy methods are used to formulate a liquid drugs into solid dosage form. First one is by the soft gelatin capsule, example vitamin A. Generally, the second method involves that the solids are converted, the liquids are converting into a solids by the conversion of this liquid into solid, and we can making into a solid dosage form. This by doing of this we can overcome the problems of a making of a liquid dosage forms. Next means each pure substances will melted at a certain temperature, that is a melting point. Each pure substances has a definite melting point, means that the components have a definite melting point. For example, the compound here will taken that has a particular melting point. If it is not in a pure conditions, what will happen means the melting point of that compound will changes. The pure substances have a always higher melting points than a impure mixtures. Means the melting points of a pure components, pure drug substances have a higher melting point than a impure mixtures. So by this we can determine the compounds are in a pure condition or a impure conditions will determine by these melting points. For the purity of the components will determine by these melting points. And the foremost thing, the pure substance drug substances have a higher melting point depression and commonly used to determine the purity of a drug substances. And organoleptic properties. What are the organoleptic properties means? The color, odor, taste of the drug substances is generally called it as the organoleptic properties. What are the organoleptic properties are? Color, odor, taste. These three parameters are generally called it as a organoleptic properties. Before making of any dosage form, we need to do these organoleptic properties. Why? Because means which color it is present, which odor it is a present, which taste is a present. Before making a dosage form, we need to know about these organoleptic properties. So this will be used. And color is the one of the organoleptic properties. In that, color is generally is a function of a drug's inherent chemical structure relating to a certain level of a unsaturation. So the color is a one of the unique feature of a drug substances. By this, we will determine the level of unsaturation, and color intensity relates to the extent of conjugated unsaturation. So by using of this color intensity, we will conjugated unsaturation as well as the presence of a chromophore. Some components may appear to have a color although structurally saturated, but some components have a color although they have a unsaturated in a nature. Next one is the odor. The substances may exhibit an inherent odor characteristic of a major functional group is present. If any drug substances have an inherent odor, means that indicates that contains a some functional groups. By having of that functional group, what will happen means it has the inherent odor. So what it means by having of that functional group, it has the inherent odor. Odor is greatly affects the flavor of preparation or a foodstuff. If it is in a bad odor, what will happen means we will add some flavors to increases the patient acceptancy. So this by knowing of this odor in a pre-formulation studies, what we will do means while doing of this information will useful for the formulator, we will add the different flavoring agents to mask the bad odor. And next one is if taste is considered as unpalatable, means unpalatable means that is unpleasant taste, means that is in a bitter taste, unpalatable taste. So if taste considered as unpalatable, consideration is to be given to use of a fee soluble chemical form of a drug. The odor and taste may be suppressed by using appropriate flavors and excipients or by coating the final product. So if it is in a bad odor, if it is in a bad taste, means unpleasant taste, what we will do means we will get the information in a pre-formulation studies. Like it is a bad odor. That time what we will do means we will add the flavoring agents. If it is in a unpalatable taste, so we will add the some sweeteners, artificial sweeteners like aspartame, next like sucrose, like sweetness will be added to improve the dosage form. This is about the organoleptic properties: color, odor, and taste. By using of these parameters, we can finally made a appropriate dosage form. This information will useful to the formulator to make a optimized dosage form. By gathering of this information, pre-formulation is a learning process. By this learning process, what we will do means we will choose the appropriate excipients, like a right excipients, like a right composition, right processing